And thank you for joining us today. We're delighted to host this webinar together with our partner, Anli. But firstly, let me introduce our speakers. We have with us Giacomo Azzori, our Chief Revenue Officer at Turbosuite. Also our partner, Precious Eli, the co-founder of Anli. And I am Saidi Mohammed from the sales team at Turbosuite. So today's session is fully educational, and we'll cover some essential topics in hotel technology, specifically the importance of the RMS, the BMS, and the channel manager. And most importantly, we'll focus on how aligning these technologies enables smarter commercial strategies and more deliberate and data-driven decision-making. So our goal will be simple. We'll help hotels compete with intelligence and strategy without relying on price discounting. So with that being said, I leave the word to my partner, Eli. Eli, the floor is yours.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome again. Just as Mohammed said, my name is Precious Eli, and I'm the co-founder at Anli. I think for us at Anli, I'm just going to be talking a bit about the PMS and sort of like how it integrates to the channel managers and sort of like these distributions, right? So in terms of property management today, it's before now or before this time, it's always been a hassle, right? So hoteliers typically would, would sort of like wait for other sales channels independently, right? To sort of like get their bookings from different OTAs. So let's say one of the traditional ways like we'd see, particularly in our market in Nigeria, is in terms of the websites, right? So they have their own websites, which sort of like function as their own OTA, if I would say it that way. So traditionally, most hotels, particularly within the Africa region, within the Nigerian region, sort of like tend towards this their website as a core booking platform, right? So they get a lot of guests who just go to their website, who try to book these things and try to book for the rooms, try to see their availabilities, try to see their pricing, and try to just book directly. But since the OTA started coming upstream, so we have lots of OTAs springing up all around. So like Booking.com, Airbnb, even locally we have some of the big players like the Stays Connect from Nigeria. We also have the Hotels.ng as well. So these are some of the local players where people sort of like try to find these bookings, right? Try to find their reservations, try to manage their reservation. But then the big problem is the disconnect, right? So the big challenge has always been sort of like the disconnect. So how do we sort of like, for the hotelier, it's a big problem, right? So for instance, we're in the Christmas season, and this time in Nigeria, it's called the Dirty December. It's sort of like a big cultural thing right now in Nigeria. So a lot of people are traveling back home. A lot of people are looking for accommodations. People are doing bookings. So it's really big time for some of our customers. So we're getting like lots of our customers are getting bookings coming from several OTAs, right? So what a traditional PMS would do for you is how do we sort of like manage this, try to be present, right? Centralize all of these reservations, get the guest record, give the pricing histories, and sort of like manage this across multiple channels, right? So this is where the sync between a PMS and a channel manager needs to come in. So someone wants to book on bookings.com, they need to make a reservation on Airbnb. It goes directly to the PMS. So this saves the hotelier the time, right? And sort of like this confusion, right? So it's a centralized reservation channel and it's a centralized reservation point. And this is where Anli and sort of like Anli and Turbosuite comes together to sort of like give our partners or our customers as well this sort of like this synergy, right? So I don't know. So what's the role of a traditional PMS? Already mentioned, centralized reservation. So you can manage your rooms as a hotelier, you can manage your rooms, you can manage your inventories, guest records, pricing histories, and channel behavior. So like, where are the bookings coming from? What channels are they coming from? And are these things happening in real time? So these are the real questions. And this is basically the role of the PMS. So I don't know if we want to move on to the next slide. So I think I already touched a little bit on this. So like channel management and connectivity. So how does the channel manager connect all of these different OTAs, and how does it come back to this centralized reservation platform that we talked about, the PMS, right? So that's the question. So these days, there are lots of OTAs, Expedia, Booking.com, and if for you, in order for you to be able to see the bookings in real time, in order for you to be able to manage these bookings in real time, you need to sort of like find a centralized hub where you get to connect all of these OTAs together and then send them to the PMS, right? So in that way, the PMS gets to receive this data, blocks the room, right? So let's say someone makes a booking, it blocks the room instantly, sends back the availability. So like, what is the availability of that room? So standard room 103, is it available, or has it been sold on booking.com? Or the standard room 103, is it available, or has it been sold on Airbnb? So this is sort of like how it connects, and then it sends back this inventory data to the Anli PMS. And all of this happens in real time. So with all of this, you get real-time update across multiple channels and across multiple sources. Yeah, so we want to just go a little bit to the next slide. So why does this disparity, why does this connectivity matter? So I think for me, the most important part, and for the hoteliers as well, the most important part is sort of like rate disparity, right? So if you look at like, what's the cost, right? So some of the customers say, oh, we get a lot of bookings on booking.com, and they tend to price their properties at a higher rate on sort of like booking.com, and then on Airbnb they try to price it lower. So and then on their website it's lower, and then it's all just sort of like scattered all over the place, right? So what you want to do is you want to be able to have a central hub where you can sort of like manage your pricing, right? Either dynamically or manually, right? So you say, okay, I want to manage the pricing instead of manually, like you set the rates, and it basically syncs across all the multiple channels. On booking.com you have a standard rate, on Airbnb you have a standard rate, even on your website as well you also have the same pricing. And this also reduces the manual work, right? So if you think of it, like if you have to manually change the prices or manage the prices or manage the room availability across multiple OTAs, this is going to be a lot of work, and this has been the case, right? So most of our customers as well, and they often do not want to do this, right? So when you look at like just going back to changing the pricing here, changing the pricing there, the manager, it takes the time from the manager, or if it's the front desk agent who is responsible for the pricing, it also takes a lot of time from them. So, but what the central pricing does, what the connectivity does, is you send out the central pricing, and then it just populates across all the several sort of like OTAs, right? So the other thing it does as well is build price confidence, which goes back to price disparity and all that, right? So when the pricing are like in sync, and when they are the same across all of the OTAs, you get to know that, okay, the pricing on Airbnb is the same as the pricing on the website. So you sort of like say, okay, this is the real pricing. So it doesn't matter where I'm booking from, I get the same pricing, and I sort of like get the same value. So I think those are some of the key reasons why connectivity matters here. So I don't know if we could just move on to the next slide.
Exactly. We'll go now to another topic. So thank you very much, Eli, for your explanation on the PMS and channel management. What we have here is also revenue management, which is channel manager, PMS, and revenue management system, which is somehow in the middle, meaning that obviously in the channel manager sends the prices to all the different channels. Then PMS is receive reservations, and then there's housekeeping and accountant and etc. Revenue management system, what it does is changes the prices that you got in the channel manager based on different factors. Okay, well, first of all, the revenue management system looks for the information of the market. Okay, in our case, it's a Booking, Airbnb, and Expedia. We look for the information both from hotels and apartments. And obviously, we also get the data from the PMS, meaning that it's also important, beside market data, to know what's your current situation. Because your competition, immediate competition, or your broader competition, in case we're talking about the whole destination, might be doing things the wrong way. But if you have a good occupancy, have a good revenue, you have made more revenue than last year with a higher ADR, it doesn't mean you have to drop prices, even if the rest of the competition does. Okay, so the key principles of revenue management is, first of all, understanding of the demand, how the demand is working, what are the trends, how people are booking, how in advance they're booking, and what type of rooms they're booking. What type of public is booking your hotel, whether it could be families, whether it could be individuals, whether it could be business, whether it be vacational, whether it could be groups. It could be a lot of different segments that obviously it's necessary to take into consideration. So it's very important to understand the value of our hotel, and the classical definition of revenue management is the right price at the right time to the right people and through the right channel. Okay, so it's very important to know what's the value of our rooms, what's the value to a double room, how can we charge for a double room with a view as opposed to room without a view, and what the competition is doing in the same way. Okay, so that's what we call competitive intelligence. So obviously, when it comes to revenue, is not dropping the prices at last minute, but knowing exactly when to sell at the right price, so that we sell the highest price at the right moment. And then obviously we can have promotions, we can have discounts for a certain period of the year where the occupancy is lower season, etc. But it's also important to know when it's the right moment to sell. Okay, so obviously the system could be used alone, meaning that it takes information from the market, takes information from the PMS, so different prices are shown for each day, and compared to your current prices, the system tells you whether you should increase your rates, whether you should decrease your rates, whether it should remain more or less the same. Obviously, in this case, automation is essential, meaning that if the price is automated, it's done by the machine. Every day the prices are sent to the channel manager, and from the channel manager to all the rest of the channels. So it's something that is done every day, while a person might have or might not have the time to check the prices, to look at the market, to send prices every day, especially if it's a small hotel. So and it's full immersed into the operation. So sometimes people, where it could be people at the reception, where it could be people in the sales team, don't have the time to look at all that kind of information and send prices every day to the different channels. So automation in this case is essential, because it saves you quite a lot of time, because prices are sent automatically again to the channel manager. Okay. So there is like a less friction, because you avoid, if you change prices manually, you avoid errors. Instead of putting $30, you could put $300 or $3. But if everything is done correctly within the configuration in the revenue management system, the right prices with the right configurations are also sent to the different channels. Okay, so there is like a stronger value proposition, because everything is done by season, by day of the week, by events, by holidays. All of your events are protected, so you get the highest value out of the hot dates. But at the same time, you also manage to increase your revenue, increase your occupancy or ADR during those dates, which are usually not the highest season, or shoulder season as they're called. So that's how we align. Okay, so the revenue management system looks for the information, recommends a new price. That price is sent to the channel manager. The channel manager sends it to the different channels, where it could be Booking.com, where it could be Expedia, and within the channel manager, you can do a different configuration Obviously, different markup depending on the channel. You can put plus 15% on booking.com to have the commission that you pay on booking.com. It could be different for Expedia, Airbnb if you're working with apartments, etc. And then so you start getting reservations, and those reservations enter into the PMS. PMS has a way to show the statistics and how reservations are into the system, and that information is taken again by the RMS, and it's a cycle that goes on and on, obviously with the aim of maximizing revenue. Okay, not just occupancy, because obviously it looks good when you have 100% occupancy in your hotel, but on the other side, if you sell with a lower price, you're losing money, or if you're selling too high, you don't reach higher occupancy, you're losing money, you're leaving money on the table. So it's a matter of increasing the efficiency and revenue. Okay. So aligned system enable faster and better decisions, because while the system is doing import, export, changing prices, sending to the different channels, you have the time to think about your strategy. You have the time to think about where you're going. You just have to, to look at the statistics that you get from the PMS. Okay, I'm selling too high here. Maybe I should lower my prices. I'm selling very good here. I have sold at a higher price, and even so, I have a higher revenue, so I'm doing very good here. You can see the trends. You can compare with this year with last year, or an event with this year with last year if they are located different month, and compare yourself with the rest of the competition. Although it's not something which is completely essential, obviously, compare with immediate competition, your destination. You see how the market is going. Okay, so. Well, you talked about PMS channel manager. I talked about RMS. So, Matt, I'll leave the word to you to, give some key takeaways of this webinar. We try to keep it as simple as possible. Obviously, if you have any questions any given time, you are free to contact us. But yeah, Matt.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your insightful guys. So speaking about the takeaways after today's session, we hope, let's say, you should walk away understanding that pricing success comes from structure, positioning, and automation, not only discounting. Also, distribution success comes from syncing or centralizing control, and also not scattering your strategy. And also technology should not, let's say, do the work for you, but with you, giving you clarity, confidence, and competitive intelligence. And as you spoke about automation, when it comes, especially for commercial roles, these technologies are driving hotels toward collaborative commercial teams. So meaning that people from distribution, revenue, digital marketing, and even CRM team work together as one group. So sharing the same data and insights about guests and demand and performance, and with everyone looking at the same information, hotels can respond faster to market changes. So and also make coordinated decisions. So reducing also duplicated or repeated efforts. So yeah, teams can quickly adjust pricing, availability, and promotions based on real-time insights, and ensuring that the right strategies reach the right guests at the right time. So I believe that's the goal of automation. I don't know if you have any question from the guests.
Any questions from the audience?
Yes, someone said, okay, the question is, what do you think are the most important reservation insights stored in a PMS? I believe it goes to Eli.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think, so you said the most important insights, reservation insights stored in a PMS. So I think for us, some of the key reservation insights, I would say, what we look at every day in terms of data is like I think like what rooms, for instance, what categories are currently going has been sold out the most for each of our hotel partners, for instance. So that's something we try to look at as much as possible in terms of data. So we have different categories. Is it a standard room? Is it an executive room? Right. So several hotels also want to understand like what sort of like these categories, right? It's important for you as a hotelier, for instance, to sort of like be aware like what category of the rooms gets sold out the most, right? So that's something we tend to look at from our side, and we tend to give even insights to our customers as well. So the other thing as well, I think that is a very great insight in terms of reservation is you want to look at like sometimes we look at the change in prices, right? So locally we look at the change in prices. So like you want to look at before connecting even to an RMS, right? So you want to understand how has it been performing, right? So before moving from sort of like a manual way to an automated system, so how has it been performing in terms of like when you sell a room for 50,000 in Naira as compared to when you previously set it up for 70,000. So from our side, we sort of like look at these insights, and we tend to provide these insights to our customers. So I think these are some of the insights you want to look at. So first off is you look at like pricing insights, so local pricing insights when it's manually done, and we also look at room categories as well. I think I hope that those are some of the key insights. I mean, in our case, those are some of the key insights that we give. Yeah, and I hope it answers the question. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. And I believe we have another question, which is, which strategy do you recommend to hotels to protect them from aggressive price competition? I believe the question goes to Jacob, no?
Yeah, in this case, it looks like more revenue management,
Yeah.
revenue management question. Well, obviously, what I talked about before, booking anticipation and booking window is very important. It's important to know when your guests are booking for a certain period. For example, Christmas period here in Spain, usually people book after the summer, just to give you an idea. Okay, so right after the summer, when people are starting to book, it's when the price should be optimized. Okay, instead of putting prices which are too high, obviously look at the situation like it was last year and how I sold last year. If I'm selling, for example, at a higher price last year, I'm losing revenue. In this case, I should lower my prices. But putting prices too high and not looking at the pickup, not looking at the rhythm of the reservation is a way to have to drop the prices at the last minute. So it's important to check your reservations, check how they were last year at the same period, see how reservations are entering from one day to the other, from 1 week to the other. And if you are not selling in a period of a week, maybe it's time to have a look at your statistics and your prices. Okay, so having this information under control during the whole time avoids this aggressive pricing and at the end. So if the competition is doing that, obviously we can avoid that by doing this kind of work.
Thank you, Jacob.
I think we lost Eli for a moment.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm back.
No problem. No problem.
Perfect. Do we have any questions from the chat? I guess no. So I would say thank you. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. And
thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, it's been a pleasure. Obviously, like we said, if anyone from the audience has any questions, they can, contact through us, through you. Obviously, your webpage, our webpage, so we'll be glad to help them and to give them any information they might need.
Yes, and I hope this session has provided, let's say, a real strategic clarity on competing without discounting. And yeah, stay tuned for more educational sessions with Anli and Turbosuite.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice
Thank you,
evening.
guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.